Huzzah! We did it.
We did it.
Welcome to our brand new program called Coaching Corner because we're coaches and that's what we do. And so I'm Diana. I'm a personal growth and development coach for queer and polyamorous humans. Um, really working with people who want to break like the cycles and the trauma and the generational shit and the conditioning shit and move on to happier and healthier and better and interpersonal connections that make you feel like you're thriving. That's what I do. Take it away.
Well, I'm going to chime in and also say, like, you help people get better at being humans, especially with other humans.
Yes.
Like, all of the interactions and like you help them become better on their own and also learn how to be better with other people and like boundaries and communication and autonomy and all that shit that we wish we knew, like
the shit we should have learned in school.
Learned in school. Yes, you teach it all. It's fucking
raising your fucking standards because I live by
raising your fucking standards. That is what you make people do. They don't even get a choice. It just kind of fucking happens when they work with you. Yes.
See, I should have let you introduce me and you because you're so much better at this. So anyway.
I am Chasity. I am a life coach who I don't like to be put in a box with anything in life. And so I do not have a niche. I really like coaching entrepreneurs and business owners, but I also really fucking love working with people who have ADHD. I have ADHD myself, and there's just so much stigma around it and so much shame. And I get it. I get how the brain, when you have ADHD and your brain works differently, I totally get it. And so my clients are able to like just let go of the pretending and take off their mask and just be who they truly are with me. And I help them, move forward. We don't just focus on ADHD shit. We have to focus a little bit on that, but we like talk about everything else that's going on in life. But ADHD literally affects everything in your life. So
yes, it underscores. And I can testify to that because, hello, ADHD, entrepreneur.
Yes.
I've never actually called myself an entrepreneur before, but it's true. No. Like, I've never used that label.
Oh, it's a really hard word to spell, by the way. I've been an entrepreneur for years, and it's one of those words that spell check gets me on every time. And I think I finally have it, but I don't know.
That's okay. I've got a couple words of those of my own. But no, like coaching with you really has like it's like this 24/7 like ongoing friend / coaching conversation. Like it's like talking with your bestie, but then also like holy shit, mind-blowing, life-changing moments and you're like, whoa, where did that come from?
Okay, so we didn't tell the people. Okay, we are both coaches and we coach each other.
Yes, this is true.
So it's really fun because we're like the best testimonials for each other because like Diana has fucking changed my life.
Thank you. Thank you.
I message her all the time and I'm like, who even am I now? Do you know the hard conversation that I just had with the people? Like, and I didn't even flinch. But before I would like text her and be like, what do I say? How do I say it? Like, should I say this? And she's like, stop being a fucking people pleaser.
Right? 2 months ago, it was like,
not even that long ago.
2 months ago, it was like, how do I have this conversation? What do I say? What do I do? What happens if? And now it's like I said the other day, now I'm finding out everything after the fact, which is as it should be. Like, don't get me wrong. But also, that's just a huge testament to like how far you've come and how much effort you put in. And hello, raising your standards because the quality of people that you now have in your life, holy shit. Like goals. Yes. #goals.
Yes.
It's amazing like that. So, because we know how things work around here, how did you get into coaching? Tell me your story.
Okay, so my story, how I got into coaching. So, few years ago, I booked a session with a therapist. I was like, oh, I've got a lot of trauma. I really need therapy, says everyone. And so it was my first session with this therapist, and we get about 20 minutes into the session, and he was like, have you ever thought about doing this? I was like, doing what? And he was like doing this, like being a therapist. And I was like, no, that has literally never crossed my mind. And so we had a conversation, and he was like, I really like the way you think and like the way you talk about things and people and like your perspective on it. He's like, I really think you'd make a great therapist. I would love to have someone like you as a colleague. And he's been doing this for like a long time. He's not new. And so that just totally blew my mind. And so then that was something that was in the back of my mind for a couple of years. And I am friends with a lot of therapists, and I was talking to them about it. And more than one of them was like, yes, I think you would make a great therapist, but with your personality, I think you would make an even better life coach. And I was like, oh, I also had not considered that. And so I started looking into like the difference between a therapist and a life coach and all of that. And, therapy is typically more focused on like what happened in the past and like how to heal from that so you can move forward. And coaching is more like future focused. You absolutely take into account things that have happened in the past, but it's all like, you know, future focused,
Yes.
goals and all that kind of stuff. So I started taking classes through the Institute for Life Coach Training. Yep. Um, and I was like, ILCT. Did I say it in the right order? It's the ILCT. And so I've completed over 85 hours of coach training, and I am almost finished with the process of becoming an associate certified coach through the International Coaching Federation. And once I started coaching, shortly after I became a coach is when I always suspected I had ADHD, but I didn't know for sure. And then like once I found out, I was like, this fucking is
Ah,
everything. So the first few clients I worked with, um, let's see, a couple of them were business owners and a couple of them had ADHD. Um, And then I decided to start like a group coaching program. And I was like, oh, what topic do I want? I was like, let's start with ADHD. And then I realized like how much I just really love working with people with ADHD. So,
and you're so good at it.
yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
a nice a nice balance, a nice, it's not it's like there's so much understanding and acceptance of like when I go off on my little tangents or when I'm just like, no, I'm not going to do this because my brain said no. And you're like, okay, cool. So like how can we work around it? Like how can we, you know, are you really stuck, or are you convincing yourself you're stuck because somebody told you that you were lazy or incapable or whatever, like working through all of that. So like for every time I try to fight you, you have a way to help me work through it. So it works out so well.
Hmm.
And now, so like my story is very different because I actually wanted to do something along the lines since I was 11. And so like this has been 15 years in the making for me. And um the imposter syndrome creeps up a little bit when you're talking about your certification and your credentials because for those of you who don't know, coaching is actually not a regulated industry. And so you don't have to have any kind of coaching or certification or credentials. And so it's just up to you and like your clients on how comfortable you are with that. And so, like, sometimes when I'm hearing people talking about all their coaching and credentials, I'm like, oh, why am I doing this? I don't need to be doing this. But also, I'm a really fucking amazing coach. Like, I'm
You're
really good at it,
an amazing coach.
right? Um, And so it's really just about the comfort level, but sometimes the imposter syndrome creeps up. So when I was 11,
Which was not 15 years ago.
close enough, close enough, close
Well,
enough.
I'm sorry. Are you 25 or 35?
I'm 35 going to be 36 soon.
I'm just saying it's 25 years ago.
Oh,
No.
shit.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
okay.
Not a year.
I can totally, I know how I did that.
Yeah.
Okay. So 15 years ago, I declared I wanted to be a life coach when I was 20.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
25 years ago, I knew I wanted to do something. See, I do that all the time.
And also, like, how fucking bizarre is it that we talk about, like, oh, I had this idea 20 years ago? I'm not old enough to have had an idea 20 years ago.
Right. Like, am I even 20 yet? Like, so anyway, 25 years ago, through some science 4-H program that I was in, I ended up connected with this other person who was starting a teen leadership club for teens to learn leadership. And the whole design was learning leadership through community service. So we used to put on all these community service events, and it was a 4-year program. So basically, it was designed to start with high schoolers, but I started in middle school, and because I was part of the guinea pig generation for it. But when we would pick community service projects, and we would learn leadership skills as we went along, and then each year we would create more complicated projects and more involved projects, and also take more control over them. So like the first year was very much, very guided, and the adults were doing more of the work, and then as we went on. And so eventually I graduated from the program, but then stayed because I loved it so much. Like, I really, really got into leadership education, and I really enjoyed teaching it to other people. Self-help was my genre by the time that I was 10. Like, now I know it's because of all the trauma that I was trying to figure out and sort out on my own. And then, like, when I was 15, I went and I spoke at a national conference for leadership education. And that, like, really, really solidified that, yes, I wanted to do this. So I continued to work with the program as a quasi-participant, quasi-senior, I don't know, supervisor to, I don't know how I would describe it. It was just, I was there all the time doing all of the things. And then when I was 20, I first heard the term life coach, and I was like, oh yes, that's it. And I remember that day exactly. I remember how hot it was. I remember like what I was wearing, which part of that's because it was a work uniform, but that's neither here nor there. But I remember calling my mentor from this program, and I was like, this is what I want to do. And she was like, oh my God, you would be amazing at this. This is what you should do. And then I didn't do anything with it for 15 years. And so, but I talked about it. I still talked about it. And like, I would tell my husband all the time, I want to do this. I want to do this. And he's like, why don't you do this? And I was like, I don't know if I can do this. And then one day we were on a date playing Pokemon Go at the park. And we had this, the intimacy deck, where it's a bunch of questions that you like ask each other and answer, and you score points and whatever. And it was like something about, what messages do you carry from your childhood? And I pulled it out, I looked at it, and I said, no, I'm not answering this one. I don't want to do this. And he was like, no, let's do this. Let's do this. And so it was like, I was like, I am never going to achieve anything. I'm never going to be good at anything. I always quit. I'm a failure at everything before I even start. And come to find out, part of that is the ADHD. Who knew? And he was like, so is this why you've never actually started your coaching practice? And I was like, yep, that's exactly what it is. And he was like, so you should do that. He's like, what do you need? I will support you any way I can. And I was like, really? Seriously? We're doing this now? And then I did. So like by 3 days later, I was officially registered as an LLC, and then just, it kind of took off on its own, and here I am, and I fucking love it, and it's brilliant.
You're so fucking good at it. And the idea that you'll never be successful is total garbage.
I know, but somebody several somebodies, many somebodies told me that I was never going to amount to anything. So
Yeah, well, there's also several somebodies out there who say that like straight is the best way and monogamy is the only way, and like fuck that noise. Fuck those people. We don't
right?
need that.
I mean, but you don't know that until somebody tells you, somebody who's already outside the box peeks back in and is like, oh, hey, by the way, do you know that there's this whole other world out there that you've never even heard of yet? And you're like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. So let's also tell them a little bit about ourselves as people.
You mean I'm more than just a coach?
You're
What?
more than just a coach.
Okay, so I am all of the things. I don't make decisions. I'm queer, I'm polyamorous, I'm pansexual, I'm a switch, I don't make decisions, I'm a little bit of everything all the time. Like, that's just me as a person. But I'm also a wife and a mother. I have several partners. I have been a stay-at-home parent for most of the last 11 years. Yeah, 11 years. Oh, fuck, 11 years. Damn. I remember when we got married, I had who is now my partner with me, and I was like, God, you guys have been married for 5 years. I can't even imagine what it's like to be 5 years, and here I am 10 years past that and then some. um I have hobbies, but I can't tell you what they are because as soon as somebody asks me anything about me, I don't know anything about myself anymore.
And also ADHD and hobbies change and like
Right. I'm surrounded by 2 entire cabinets full of makeup that I haven't touched in like a while. Um, yeah, I'm could be hobbies. I could be doing this hobby. I have the supplies, I have the necessary things. Um, I really enjoy organization. When I was in high school, I used to get paid to organize people's shit, and I was
oh my
really
gosh,
good
when
at
I
it.
first met you, you were like, I'm organizing my pantry. And you like,
Oh yeah, that's right. Holy shit, I remember that. I need to go organize it again, but I've also been saying that for like 6 weeks. So 3 kids will destroy that pantry in very short order. Because it doesn't matter how many times you say whatever.
right, right. And
Um,
label the things and
right. No, I bought a new label maker because we lost ours in the move, and I still haven't. I still haven't. No, I did. I used it for labeling some of the stuff in the baking cabinet, and that's it.
okay.
So it's like halfway done. Um,
I wonder what happened that you got distracted and walked away from it and never came back.
I started a business.
Like
That's
halfway through labeling the things though? Or was it like, oh, I'm gonna go get a glass of water, and then on the way to get the glass of water, you're like, oh fuck, there's this laundry. Oh wait, by the way,
it was probably something like that, most likely. Or food. Food distracted me. I'm very food motivated. I will. Ugh, I'm already thinking it's date night, so I'm already thinking about.
well, I am like thinking about lunch. I'm like, breakfast was too long ago. I'm ready for lunch now.
Yep, I totally get that. Not me at 4 o'clock this morning on DoorDash going, what can I get right now? What will they bring me? I have 3 kids, so we have a blended family thanks to polyamory. So I have 2 teenagers who are the same age but 5 months apart, and one that is very, very headed towards the preteen territory. I have a whole bunch of chosen family. My family of origin, aside from my parents, really has nothing to do with me. So everybody in my life is there by design and choice, and um, really fits the raising the standards criteria. Like, I raised my standards, and holy shit, the people that I have, we were just talking about this the other day. The people that I'm surrounded with are fucking amazing. Which is something that I never ever would have thought that I could have. I have 3 pets. Also, from the blended family side of things, only one of them was mine. The other 2 came with my partner when they moved in. Um, yeah, I like squishmallows. I don't know. I'm terrible at trying to say who I am. So, how about you start? Let's
Okay. Well, I mean, I think you did a good job. I can't think of anything. Nothing big is jumping out at me that you. I'm
Okay.
like, well, how did you forget? What it is? You also have ADHD. I don't know if you explicitly said that.
Yes, I think I did.
I don't remember if you said the words or just like heavily hinted at it. I don't know. I don't
We'll
know.
find out when we go back and watch
The recording. Cool. Okay. So let's see about me. I am a divorced mom of 2 kids. I got a divorce. My divorce is finalized about a year ago, April 2021. My kids are, I have a 7-year-old boy and a 5-year-old girl. And I was a stay-at-home mom. Like when my son turned 1, I quit my job. And I was a stay-at-home mom with the intention of unschooling my children. But then I got divorced and I was like, hey, I really want to start this coaching business. And like, turns out kids need a lot of attention. And like, I have ADHD. I personally, without having a partner, cannot focus on like the kids and my business and like do anything well. So my ex and I recently agreed to put our kids into this. It's not actually a school. It's an agile learning center that focuses on self-directed education with a heavy focus on anti-oppression. And so I'm like, I fucking love it.
Yeah.
It's like a 30-minute drive to get them there. So it's kind of a pain in the butt. But anyway, that's not really information about me. Let's see. I have ADHD. I live in Austin, Texas. I am queer, ambiamorous, relationship anarchist. I hate, like, my big thing that I tell people is like, yeah, but like, what do you want? Like, that's what society tells you you're supposed to do and you're supposed to want. And like, oh yeah, like this is the path you're supposed to be on, but like, fuck that. What do you actually want? Let's see. When I feel like I'm forgetting a lot of things. I don't know what my hobbies are either because I have ADHD and I have kids and I like own a business. And so like, do I have hobbies?
Backtrack for a second. You
Yeah.
want to tell people what ambiamorous are in case the
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I thought I was monogamous until 2019. And then my husband and I had a lot of conversations and we were like, actually, it turns out we're polyamorous. And then we got divorced. And once I was single, I was like really evaluating things. And I was like, and Diana helped me with this because back then, when we first started working together, she was a polyamorous relationship coach. But like we agreed to coach each other. And I was like, "Ugh, like I'm single and like I don't even know what the fuck I want." And we had several conversations about me being like, am I polyamorous? I don't want to be monogamous, but like I also don't know if I'm polyamorous. And she was like, have you heard of the term ambiamorous? And I was like, no, tell me more about that. And it's basically just you recognize that you could be happy being monogamous or polyamorous given the right person and the right circumstances and like lots of conversations and information and all the things, right? You're not just like settling into one. And so I was like, yes, that is absolutely me. Like, don't make me pick a thing. Don't fucking make me pick.
right?
Okay. And then just a couple of months ago, I read an article about relationship anarchy that like really fucking resonated with me. And it's basically the idea that like there are no fucking roles in relationships. Like friendships don't always have to just be platonic and like relationships don't have to follow this course. And like you don't have to be polyamorous or monogamous or any of the things. It's basically like you start with another human being and you build your relationship with them from the ground up, creating your own rules based on your conversations and agreements and consent and all of that stuff. And I'm like, yes. I don't want anybody else's rules. I want to make this shit up as I go because that's a lot more fun. So,
And that's why I switched to like focusing on interpersonal connections, because relationships of all types are important. And like anytime that you make contact with another person, it's a connection, even if it's just the cashier at the grocery store for 5 minutes. And there is nothing that says that that connection is any less valuable than any of your other relationships. My friendships did not take a backseat to my relationship. And in some ways, because of this growth process that I've gone through, like they are more important, they are more valuable than they ever were. And so that's part of the work that I want to do with this, like with all the coaching that I do, and the word yesterday that I was using a whole bunch that I can't remember right now, cycle breaking.
I was like, I don't know. Did you tell me the word? Am I supposed to remember?
It was on the call we were on yesterday. And oh, but you left.
I had to get off early. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, so with like all the cycle breaking and stuff, like that's part of it, is to like help people see the value of like all connections. Like you see all of these, like, what do they call them? Inspiration porn, where, this 5-minute connection saved somebody's life or changed their life or whatever. Like those, it's not saying that interaction has to be labeled as more important than any other, but it has the same potential for value as any other connection. And so that's just my little tangent on that.
Okay, what else about me? I feel like there's so much about me.
It's that paradox of so much, but yet nothing.
But like, is any of it relevant? What's really relevant? I don't know. Okay, so I recently started dating, which was a whole thing. I tried to start dating last summer, and that was a fucking mess. And I was like, fuck this
Because I
mess.
wasn't there for that.
I'm just single forever. Right. I wasn't really talking to you about it. I was talking to my therapist about it, and she was not helpful. I don't work with her anymore. So in February, I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get back on the dating apps. I'm going to try and date. And it was a hot mess for a while because I think dating is terrible.
It is. It absolutely is.
I hate it all.
But didn't you say you were going to get back on the dating apps? And I was like, but didn't you say a week ago that you weren't even going to try dating for like a year?
Well, okay. Oh, the big thing. Hi, I'm pregnant. I'm 12 and a half weeks pregnant. I'm a surrogate though, so it's not my baby. There are two amazing intended dads. Dayon, I got to meet them. Okay, so I've been on the journey to become a surrogate for 2 years now. It has been a long process that was interrupted by my divorce. I was matched with a couple of dads that were amazing, and it was going to be great. And then I started the divorce process, and we decided to put the whole surrogacy journey on hold until I was done. So then I got matched with a new set of dads last summer, and in March, I had to try. So I live in Texas. In March, I had to travel to Connecticut for the embryo transfer, and I needed a support person. And so Dayana took the train, and we got to meet. So we don't live in the same state. We'd never met in person. That was the first time we got to meet in person.
Yes.
Amazing. And we talked so much, like it didn't feel like, oh my God, this is as a person. I was like, hey, I saw you yesterday. We like video chatted for 2 hours yesterday about all the things. And so
exactly.
But yeah, so now the embryo transfer was successful. And so now I am 12 and a half weeks pregnant, a due date of November 19th.
My anniversary.
I mean, the baby will likely be early because all my babies are, but I mean, who knows? You never know for sure. Yeah, so that's a thing. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to be a surrogate. Do I want to start dating now, or do I wait until after? Like, who the fuck is going to want to date a pregnant woman? And it's like not her baby, not their baby, like none of the things. So
the potential for complication definitely exists.
And I have a friend, oh my gosh. I have a friend who was like, yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, if I was a lesbian, I don't think I could date somebody who's going to be a surrogate because, like, childbirth is really risky. And, like, what if I fall in love with her and then she dies?
Oh, my God.
And I was like, that never crossed my mind.
But thank you, because now it's there.
But now it's there. And also, like, you and I have been friends for, like, 17 years now. Like, are this is gonna be my third pregnancy. Aren't you, like, afraid that I'm gonna die? Does that mean do you not wanna be friends with pregnant people? Like, I don't understand what's happening right now, but, like, that was not my fear, is that, like, I'm gonna die and leave this person heartbroken. Um, anyway, so I ended up meeting somebody on a dating app, and I really liked them right away. And, I relied heavily on Diana to survive the dating process. I my attachment style is avoidant, and I have a lot of trauma. And so I was like, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can handle this. This is all very hard and scary. And like, how soon do I have these hard conversations? And she was like, right now, right away. Like, get it out of the way, set the precedent that like we can talk about hard things and we can do it and like navigate healthy conflict and all the things. And I was like, cool. So like first month, I was probably texting her every day and I was like, I can't do this. What am I supposed to say? Here's what I want to say. And she was like, yeah, but that's too many words. You're like being a people pleaser. Like, cut out the majority of that shit and try again. And it was a painful process, but it was fantastic. So I've been dating this person for like, oh my God, only 2.5 months now.
But
That's it.
it
But it is the healthiest relationship I have ever been in. And it legit blows my mind every fucking day.
and it's
So
also goals because hello, the standard of human that you picked is like
yes,
so high up there.
yes. I
I'm so
Yeah.
proud of
Going into
you.
dating this time, like I had done a lot of work on my own before meeting Diana, but she really helped me to like step it up. And so, like at the beginning, when I was like, okay, well, here's how I feel about this thing. Like, should I tell him? And she was like, yeah, because if he doesn't agree with you or like that's not for him, you want to know now. And I was like, fuck yes, I do. I'm saying the thing. And I
And
did.
then you're like, here, I typed it up, but do I really want to say it?
I typed
And
it and
that's
send for me.
and that's like you really hit the nail on the head when it comes to communication. It's like so much of what we say is like fluff. It is unnecessary fluff, either to give us the illusion of protecting ourselves or to soften the blow for somebody else. And like that's why I talk about radical honesty, not brutal honesty. We don't need to be brutal. Like
Right.
that's
Right.
completely and totally unnecessary for like 99.8 probably circumstances. But like radical honesty, getting that shit out there, being forthcoming about who you are and what your values are and what you want and what you need, and figuring that shit out from the beginning. Like I'm not dating now because my focus is outside of what I already have going on is on my business, and that's where I want it to be right now. But when I am dating, I am so abrasive and so like out there up front because I don't want to waste anybody's time and I don't want to get attached to somebody who just fundamentally doesn't care about the same things that I do or care about my wants and needs. But at the same time, I find that when I do that, I have more space in my life for people than if I was going through the dating process, because it's like, okay, great. We are not compatible as a romantic couple, but holy shit, you're my new BFF now. And so like it works. It
And
works.
like also like letting go of the conditioning that we have to like put our best foot forward, like hide all of our flaws and only put our best self forward. Like, no, I want to show up fully as my authentic, messy self right from the get go because, like, this is the me you're getting. I don't want anybody to, I don't want to be fooled by you. And like, I don't want
Mhm.
you to be fooled by me. And then we get like, what, a few months, a few years down the road. And like, we keep discovering things like, oh, I didn't realize. I don't want
Mhm.
to have those moments of like, oh, I didn't realize.
Right. Like there's some mystery and unfolding and discovering as you're growing together is totally great and wonderful.
Yeah.
But also, like I am far too ADHD to like be dressed up and wear makeup every time I go on a date. Like that is just not me. Like I always have the intention because I love wearing makeup and I love dressing up. But I look at the clock and I'm like, all right, I got 4 hours. And then I'm like, but I'd really just rather binge watch some TV than like put that into. So I might show up in no makeup and a ponytail and possibly my pajamas. I don't know. But that's how I'm going to show up more often than not anyway. So if you have a problem with that, then it's not going to work out. I had another thought, but I don't remember what it is.
Okay. Is there
'Cause we do
anything
that
else?
all the time. I don't know.
Okay, so basically what we're doing, like this is our
Oh,
intro
yeah.
video, and like what we want to do is just get together and talk about relevant shit.
Yeah.
Like
So
stuff that like ideally like whoever's watching this recording is like gonna learn something. But also we're not real big planners and we both have ADHD and we just like feed off of each other's energy really well. So we're gonna like show up like with a topic and just kind
maybe,
of
possibly.
goes. Yeah. We've got for a few weeks, we're going to show up with a topic because like we made a list of 5 things. And so we've got like 5 topics. And then we're just going to kind of see where it goes. So that way y'all can maybe learn some stuff and get to know us and just, we'll all have fun together.
Yes. Like that was because we've been talking about this since forever, but then we did a video segment to help me figure out some of the technical aspects of stuff back in December, and we were like, we should make this a regular thing. And in true ADHD fashion, here we are in May, just finally getting around to doing it, even though we sit and talk like this all the fucking time.
Yeah, this is just like what conversations with us look like.
We just do the thing and it goes the place, and it works out. And we have like part of the other part of the reason is because so a lot of the work that we do does intersect. Like there is a lot of crossover between her ADHD work and my personal growth work. So we have a shit ton that we can talk about that is both in common, but we also have our own takes on it based on what we do in our work. And so we thought that would be pretty cool to kind of give like both sides of it. Because I mean, realistically too, if you're in the market for a coach, you really want to get to know people. You really want to like have an idea if this person is right for you. And like we both deal with a lot of topics. So like every client I've ever had has had ADHD. Like that's just been the thing. But I'm not an ADHD coach.
I
But
have one
also
now that doesn't have ADHD, and I'm like, this is so interesting the way your brain works.
this is
But I'm
fascinating.
still a very effective coach for her because I'm a good coach who just happens to have ADHD.
Right, exactly. And like a lot of the work that you do does involve personal growth. Like even if it's not intentionally set to be personal growth, your client grow.
That's what life coaching is.
Right, exactly. So we just have this like nice, neat little intersection, and we get along really well, and we're like besties and business besties, and like.
So if y'all have not watched our first video, our first one we recorded back in December was about relationships and ADHD, and it's gold. So you should watch it. And also we're going to try and keep these under an hour because I was like, we need to keep them under an hour because I have ADHD. And if I see a video that is an hour and 6 minutes, I'm like, I'm out. That's too fucking long. I cannot. But if it's like 57 minutes, I'm like, that's a little more reasonable. I could probably do that.
Right. I'm the same way, but I never recognized it until you said that.
Wow.
It's kind of funny how that works.
Anything else?
No. I'm sure by the time this gets posted, we'll have some sort of like way you can. Huh?
No. What were you saying?
Like some sort of way that you can like ask questions or like anything like that.
Yeah.
And we'll also provide opportunities. So like we both run programs. I'm pretty sure your one-on-one coaching is evergreen. Mine is. Like you can, unless I'm completely full, you can always sign up with me for coaching. But we run these really awesome group programs. Like Chastity's got an ADHD and something or just ADHD?
It's a hybrid. So you get both group and one-on-one coaching, but then I'm also always available. Not always. I am currently available for one-on-one coaching. I imagine I will get to a point where I'm full, but I'm not right now.
Right.
So.
And like, I don't know what my next program is, but I've got like 3 in the works. So we'll see.
You have all the good ideas. It's just a matter of like picking one and
yes. Well, my rebranding also slowed me down because I didn't want to put all this stuff out under my old name, which was Practical Polyamory. But as of yesterday, it has changed and I'm officially renamed, but I'm not telling you what it is yet because I'm waiting.
I already know, but
yeah. You know. My designer made me a special graphic for announcing my rebrand, so I'm waiting until I have it in order to post it.
All right, let's let these people go. I want to go eat lunch.
Yes, you go eat lunch.
Thank you all for watching.
Yes, it was wonderful. Bye.
Bye.